Welcome to the shit show.
Wow, Tom. AEW Dynamite ended a little bit ago, just a few minutes ago here. It is Wednesday night. Typically we do this on a Thursday nights, but AEW Dynamite and finished. It was an overrun, right? A long AEW Dynamite. We have AEW Forbidden Door, so we could not wait. Plus, tomorrow is July 4th. It's America's quote-unquote Independence Day. Might be the last goddamn one we have over here, surprisingly, if you follow the news. I don't know. But, less on that, I guess. Tom, a lot of stuff has been happening on AEW that we wanted to get in here and talk about it. Before we get into that, though, sometimes we like to, set the table a little bit and check in on each other. How's Tom?
Dude, I'm good. I just worked the biggest event in my professional career, and that, I could go over there and show you my bona fides, but I won't, of all the lanyards of past events that I've worked. I am coming in a little choppy. I see that. It's the video. I may need to.
You think it's you?
Yes.
I don't know. All right.
No, I think it's me. Yeah, it says high memory usage. So we were trying to figure something out. So if you could pull up beach break results, that would be cool, because apparently I can't. There it is. And now look, oh yeah, I'm so much smoother. You're welcome, YouTube. I just worked the biggest event in my career. Monday night was at Arrowhead Stadium, and I worked the Copa America versus Uruguay. And I didn't say that correctly, and I know, but look, every word has some type of accent, comes from somewhere else. I'm so sorry. I'm from
You might have said it better than most of us are from around here.
Oh, trust me. The individuals from that country, when the American PA announcer was saying their country's name,
not happy.
Fucking hated it. Which, but by the way, love America, all the stuff. Thank God we lost. I don't think we could have made it. I would have probably been beaten to death if America would have beat Uruguay on Monday night, because those fans were about it. And so anyhow, I worked it at Arrowhead, had some record number on FS1. There's 57,000 people. I handled the media, where I made sure that they had their correct credentials, their correct seating arrangements, the correct Wi-Fi and all of those kind of things. I also herded them like cats, which was funny, where I took them from where they were seated onto the field during the national anthems for both countries, and then took them back. Man, those motherfuckers were elbowing each other. You would have thought that was a fist fight. Just them trying to get the shots. Woo, yeah. It was crazy. But here's the thing. I had PTSD. So for so many of my events, I've worked with MMA individuals, right? And they're not professional all the time. And so I went into this like, okay, motherfucker, you got to get your shit straight. Make sure everything's fucking there. Every fucking thing. Okay. Every fucking thing. And I was like, I'm the fucking best. I know I'm the fucking best. Like, I'm doing all that shit in my head, motherfucker. I'm working with Telemundo, the AP, press, who else was it? USA Today, Getty. And they're like, no, we're good. Hey, thanks, man. What's the Wi-Fi? This. Okay, cool. Hey, appreciate it. And they were fucking professionals the entire time. I was like,
awesome.
Motherfucker. Like, okay, well then I guess fuck me. Like, I was making this out because, again, a lot of the times I'm trying to find fighters who are sitting in the stands with their parents because they just want to hang out before their fight. And so, yeah, it was very enjoyable to do. America, as I mentioned, did lose 1-0. Apparently it was an offsides, which, Tim, real quick, side note, let's go on as a quick side quest. It's just me and you here talking. Offsides. Where do you stand? Where do you stand on offsides?
I think they would up the scoring a little bit if they didn't call it. You know what I mean? On that, if they didn't, to me, I get the idea of what they're saying. They, like, when I hear soccer folks describe why it is there, right? You don't want the cherry picking, but they call it in the most non-cherry picking spots than I see it where it's like, I mean, we're talking, come on, guy, right? Like, never in basketball would I be like, nah, run that back. That's bullshit. You're just hanging down there the whole time. Because that can have, in pickup ball, it's one thing, like, if you just get burnt because you didn't keep your head up. But, like, if somebody's doing that the whole time, you go, hey, motherfucker, that ain't playing ball, right? Like, come on, let's fucking get back over here. We didn't come here to the gym to do that, right? But, like, fucking soccer game, if it happens once or twice, fine. It seems weird that they harp on it so much, right? I think it's a weird rule-ish, but, like, I hear what they say, but, like, I don't think they ever apply it to what they act like the problem could be.
I think it is horrendous. I think it's a detriment to what you're saying sport is, because this is the reason. 2, 1, if there is, like you said, cherry picking, defenses would adjust, right?
Yeah.
If there's one motherfucker that would just stand there, they'd be like, well, then I'm going to have the motherfucker stand next to him, right?
I'm put my dick on his thigh. You know what I mean? I'm standing there the whole time. You know what I mean?
So, got out of that inning. Let's go Royals. And so, I think, again, defenses would adjust. And then 2, to exactly your reasoning, the intent of it is to say, hey, you can't be just, no playing defense, only playing offense. And now we're just 100 to 101, right? Just because one person missed the shot.
Right.
But like in the goal that America was protesting was offside, it was a fucking, like, I think their knee was over.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's so, that's where it feels. It's like, man, you just wanted to call something in the moment. You wanted to, like, I don't know.
Yeah. So I think, and I argue with all soccer people about this, I think offsides is the worst rule in organized sports. Like, I'm being legitimate when I say that. I think it is an insult to defensive players. It's an insult to defensive strategy. And also, it's not called in the intent of what the rule is made for.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing, too, is like, yeah, as a defender, I'm supposed to kind of lag back a little bit. I feel like even if we've got the ball and we're driving, like, so if, like, you know what I mean? Like, if the ball suddenly gets kicked back, which happens a lot in soccer, like, these guys are running around all over the field. It's near impossible sometimes for them to know what they are. And, like, your instinct in sports is, fuck, we got the ball, go, you know what I mean, towards the goal. And so, like, well, it's hard to ask this athlete that's running quick, jerky movements, supreme athlete, by the way, like, quick, jerky movements all over the fucking court, cardio at least, you know what I mean, like, and just twitchy, right, running, and then be like, oh, but also measure, east to west, perpendicular. Are you behind this guy? Yeah. Like, come on, bro. They have their head on a swivel, right? Like, they're adjusting in the moment to every second, right? Like, get the fuck out of here.
Well, and then also, like, another thing that I've always thought, and now I understand that the rule isn't called, like, once it's kicked, the defense can't just stop there and then, right? Right. However, if you kind of know, let's just say Tyreek Hill, that's a good example, was playing soccer, and I go out and I'm on Tyreek Hill, well, I'm going to jog the entire time so that then when the ball is kicked, well, he's offside, right? Like, so you're rewarding the defense for not being as athletic or as good. So I just don't like it. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We are here to talk about you, Tim. What did you do while we were off? Why are you wearing a shirt? Were you celebrating his match tonight? Man, what a match. We'll get to that in a second. But what shirt are you wearing?
Oh, Jeff Jarrett here. For anybody who's followed us a long time knows this, but anybody that's new, we do a picks game each, pay-per-view or WTF is a PLE. And the loser gets to wear the Jeff Jarrett shirt that we got here from Pro Wrestling Tees, who makes fine shirts. However, this Jeff Jarrett one is off-centered. I don't know how this, like, look at this. That's straight up and down. Look at me. I'm having to, like... Superman. All right. So this is why, if you're a podcast listener, you should be watching us live on the YouTube. You could be seeing what we're talking about right now. I am wearing the shirt. We did lose the Forbidden Door picks this weekend. I was sick most of this weekend, so I kind of lounged around, stuff like that. I had to call in sick Monday because that was like the worst day of it. So not. Did you
call in sick? Did you call in sick because you knew those bullshit picks were going to cost you wearing Jeff Jarrett?
Yeah, I was like sick to my stomach over this. I was just vomiting and shitting and all right. So, not much into that. And then, You know, so I'm sick, so I sat there doom scrolling, right? And so that was all fun, right? Just sat there with a
Don't
nice,
ever
like,
do
fucking,
that.
yeah, I can't do that. Advice. Better advice. I didn't even talk to Tom about this, but I'm sure he'd agree. I urge you, make sure if you're an American citizen, your voter registration is up to date and that you're ready to go. And, yeah. All right, Tom. Forbidden Door, though. I did lose that. You got everything right in the picks, for fuck's sake. You got everything except the pre-match thing with the Willow Statlander.
I mean, I didn't even know
match.
that it was really a match, you know.
Fucker.
Yeah.
And again, it's Forbidden Door of all fucking things. And you're sitting here batting damn near 1,000 on this thing.
Big brain. That's why they call me Big Brain Thomas. They say, old Tommy Big Brains over here. And I go,
they call you that?
Oh, yeah. Look.
They? Who's they?
So many people. Oh, all the peoples.
All of them?
All the peoples. All of the peoples. Yeah, all of them. Just think of the peoples. Think of the peoples.
Nice.
That's who calls me up. Yeah,
that's nice perfect. That they do that. That is nice. Yeah, that's nice. So we are going to talk about Forbidden Door and those things that happen there. We encourage you, if you are watching us live on the YouTube, check on voter registrations, but also get in the chat. Get in the chat and talk to us about Forbidden Door. Talk to us about Dynamite. We had a long overrun Dynamite. That thing ran 15 minutes long by my watch, Tom, and my watch might be right. I don't fucking know, but we are here to talk about it. We got a fun bunch of stuff that happened here, and I want to break it down. I want to encourage everybody also to go to allelitewrapup.com. Subscribe there. It's free. It's easy. You'll know when we're going live. You can, get all the links you need. We have an email. You can send us stuff and all that kind of jazz, right? So, Tom, let's just talk about it. Dynamite. You ready to break this down?
Let's do it. I like it.
This opened with a cold open. We get Renee Paquette's face, right? Just staring us down. We don't really get the music. I think you can kind of hear it in the background, but she's like, what's up, right? And she's got Daniel Garcia with Daddy Magic Matt Menard. So already I'm like, all right, this is going right. We're going to get his little, like, I'm hyped, ready to go promo, which he does, right? What'd you think here before we get into kind of the back end of this?
I love that. Generally speaking, AEW keeps us on our toes of how they're going to start the show. For the longest time, WWE was promo for 10 minutes, sets up the main event. Next match is this, right? Like every cut.
Remember when they would like always open with like the exact same segment every time? Yeah.
And so again, generally speaking, there's obviously some examples of repetitiveness, but generally speaking, you're getting a match or an in-ring promo or a backstage promo like this, or an interview or whatever it may be. So I do like that. I like that it's something different to where I can't just put on AEW Dynamite, walk out of the ring or walk out of the room, get a, water or whatever, and then be like, well, it's a match.
About this open, because it was a bit of a theme. And we'd see it throughout the show, this sort of Renee's interviewing folks at this set. And this set was like just the curtains with the backdrop, the different colors, right? We weren't in like a, the fucking walkway. We weren't in the backstage area. I mean, obviously we were in the backstage area, but you get what I mean, right? What'd you think of this, right? Because that looked, I don't know if that was intended or if that was just everything else here sucks, throw up some curtains, or what do you think? You think that was like
I like
to stick out and be different?
Yeah. Well, and I generally like it too, because like, for example, when they do backstage segments and all of a sudden the locker room has like blue and red coloring off the walls, I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, I don't like that.
Yeah, right.
It just it's distracting to the eye. I'm looking at like, what other color can I see instead of listening to X wrestler, right? So I like this setup because it says, look at this fucking person with the microphone and who they're talking to. You don't need to worry about TVs and all this other nonsense. So I'm a fan of that. I like that a lot. And then, we got Matt Menard. You mentioned that. We got Daddy Magic Matt Menard with Garcia and MJF, right? Matt Menard. When are we going to explain Matt Menard?
Yeah, and I guess there is a little. Was there some connection with Matt Menard and MJF at all before? Because I know Menard was with that Jericho thing, but that was post MJF, right? So they really haven't had.
No, they haven't had much.
Ever together.
Yeah. Much.
I mean, again, I'll be honest. Then I was like, all right. I was getting these ideas of like, is he fucking with Daniel Garcia, right? But I thought, man, we're on a hot face run with him right now. right? I thought, I don't know if they want us to think that, right? Was kind of where I was thinking, right? I thought maybe we get something else happening because he's there to make us think this is happening, which we'll get to later, some foreshadowing. But yeah, no, here, and even with the Matt Menard, right? Like you're all right with me, because that did seem ominous, right? It was like, uh-oh, that looks like foreshadowing, right? So I think I was second guessing myself a little bit. Yeah, I agree.
But also just eventually, again, if you're watching this, you most likely watched all of Dynamite. We have to explain, and I get it. They came in together. 2.0 referred to Garcia as their son, and I get all of that. But like, we dissolved the Jericho Appreciation Society, and I was supposed to understand that they all went their separate ways. And I know they're friendly, but like, this is weird. Like, why is Anna Jay not with Garcia every single match? Why is it just Matt Menard? I don't get it. That's where I'm confused. But I digress.
I do agree with you. We got some folks in the chat joining us already. We got Justin Floor, friend of the show. We got Tino Ibarra, another friend of the show, right? Some regulars in here, semi-often regulars, right? We love to see that. We got Justin Floor saying, "Hey boys, just caught up on Dynamite. Let's go!" A lot of O's. Justin Floor also says, was it me or was there a lot more backstage interviews tonight? And yes, we were just kind of talking about that, especially with the sort of like a different look to them recently, right? So that's fun. And Tino Ibarra says, kind of thought MJF was about to fight with a fan for a second. And yeah, more on that later, I think. But yeah, man, that was cool. I liked it too. We'll get into that. I think we'll talk more about that at the end. But any more on this segment? This is this kind of opening. This is all before the music, right? Like this is all before the intro even, right?
Come on.
Did we even get the actual intro after that? I forget. Did they actually play like the full? Yeah. I think
we got the fireworks, and it's Wednesday. You know what that means. That's what I think of when I think of Dynamite. I don't think of like the music.
Whatever they're playing in front of the music.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with the opening match, then we get the Owen Hart Cup semifinal match between Pac, the Bastard, and the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. And everything you thought this match was going to be was that match, right?
Yeah, it was very interesting. I honestly thought, and I understood it from a certain perspective as far as you're gaining sympathy for Bryan Danielson, but I was expecting with Pac being a bastard and kind of shoving it in Danielson's face that we would have got a little bit more of, I'm gonna kick his fucking head in, like that attitude of like, fuck you, Danielson did great and had awesome counters, but I was expecting a little bit more of that, but that's nitpicking. This was fantastic. I liked the submission into a reversal, into another submission, into a pin, into a this, into a that, and it's a pretzel, and is it not? What is time? Oh my God. Like, I liked all of that. That was fun.
I agree. I thought we would get a little more Pac grinding on our like, hey man, I like you, but don't do that to the American Dragon, right? I thought we'd get a little more vicious.
Well, he did. Yeah. Well, he did the like mocking of the yes chant and stuff like that. I was expecting more from Danielson. Danielson felt like he played it traditional babyface, which is not.
Yeah.
As
I
frequent.
thought more we'd get a little more like Dirty Pool, right? A couple cheap shots, right? Some vicious, maybe like I'm rubbing his face on the grate. We'd be like, hey, dog. You know what I mean? Like, not the dragon, my guy. And Danielson gets a pinfall victory. I don't think that was a big surprise here, right? I mean, I wouldn't have been shocked, right, if Pac gets a victory here, but
yeah, I thought it was fun. I thought it was a good way to make Pac, whatever, Tupac, whatever you want to say. I thought it was a good way to have Pac lose, but it's not like, oh my God, did you see him get his ass kicked? It was just like oh man, one move that he got on me. And Danielson is the veteran of the two. I mean, they're both veterans, but you understand what I'm saying. So I thought it was good. And Danielson moves on to the finals. I'm interested in this now. We'll talk about who he's going to face, because son of a bitch, what do we do?
They made this tonight, this Owen Hart Cup, just a lot more intriguing, right? Like, it was already a cool thing, right? And I was like, oh, and it's got high stakes now. We have a mystery person, but man.
Well, that's the thing. It's the stakes that makes it interesting. Because if you just tell me the winner gets another pink belt and some fireworks, well, who the fuck cares that wins this tournament? But because now the winner gets a title shot. Uh-oh. Right. Uh-oh. What are we gonna do now?
Uh-oh.
So
Right.
yeah, that's what made it interesting. But yeah, so Danielson moves on. Pac, we'll see what he does. You know, he's almost Teflon, like a mid-card version of Moxley, where it doesn't matter if he wins or loses, because we know when he shows up, shit's gonna be fun. Motherfucker. Are you serious?
The Royals game not going well for you?
Ah, yeah.
Oh, no, it is.
Oh, we're the greatest of all time. Hey, I'm a Royals fan. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's good.
This is
it's good to be.
it's baseball that means something, for Christ's sake. Look, we had to do a late Spanish announce table because you wanted to watch a K-State basketball game. So don't give me shit, homie.
Oh, I know. No,
Don't give me shit.
No. That shit might start
I love
happening. It's
Dynamite.
supposed to be a hell of a football season, too, although we rarely do the show during a football game. But the basketball team's supposed to be, anyway, yeah, other podcasts for that. All right, back to the Dynamite. So we just went through Danielson getting that pinfall victory, right? Oh, and the theme of the night is interviews. We get Renee Paquette backstage with the queen, the goddess of this shit, Willow Nightingale.
Willow!
This is the male version of Willow. If you're watching on YouTube, this is the male version of
Yes.
Willow, right fucking there.
Yes.
She's awesome. And this fucking ruled, because I'm going to be honest with you. I love Willow. I thought she's been great since day one in AEW. I did not know of her before AEW. So she kind of came in as a, package deal, right? Like there was not a lot of character development. It was, this is who I am. Like it, you don't, right? And we found out. So with that being said, the nothing matters smile anyways, I didn't really get that. I was just like, okay, so are you like depressed, but we're fighting through it? Or are you just like, I don't care if I win or lose because I'm going to be happy anyways, right? So I didn't understand what the meaning of that phrase was. But this promo tonight, come on.
Fire. Yeah, well, she always delivers a great promo. Yes, I would like more investment because I like the phrase, and what I took it to personalize, I kind of like, you can use it broadly outside of just even this pro wrestling. In fact, being if we're living kayfabe, this feels like one of the weird places it really wouldn't fit well. But, side point, if you can make it more of a thing about her, right? And maybe we get more into the nothing matters smile anyway, right? Then cool, right? Tino Ibarra says, I thought the male version was Mick Foley. But if he was Teletubby, right?
Yeah, a Teletubby Mick Foley. I mean, yeah, but look, Mick Foley also was a little deranged, right? You have 3 different personalities. Nick Gage is also deranged, but it's like, he just wants to fucking kill you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, well, back to this. So let's see, where were we at? Yeah, then we get Mark Briscoe in the ring. And, man, this whole segment really kind of... All right, so we get Mark Briscoe. He's doing the... Jericho must have gave him tips on how to keep running with the gag promo of being a little crazy, right? He's doing some cool stuff because, I mean, he's, an area that's obviously, akin to liking Mark Briscoe a lot. And he's hyping up some of it. And he's got, he's a funny guy and he's a fun guy, right? And, like, we like him. But, like, again, as we've said the last couple of weeks, this is running a little long now, right? Like, it felt organic one week, maybe even into the second week, but now we're forcing it a little bit, right? Before we get too much further in this, what do you think so far?
Well, I liked it in this sense. The reason I really jumped the shark on it last week was, I believe it was Kyle O'Reilly just said, now do the thing. And it was like, okay, we're not doing the dance monkey. And he just cuts a promo, right? This was, I'm in the ring, I'm talking my shit. And he has a cool cadence and he has a good delivery. So it's captivating to the ear to listen to, the whole delivery of his monologues. And so it was, okay, I'm in it, right? So I liked this way more than I did last week, because last week it felt forced in kayfabe, where it's just, now you say your thing. And it's like, what the fuck is that about? Now, as we get into the promo, essentially he's talking about AEW he loves, right? This is where we're fucking weird to the casual person. Let's just hypothetically say a WWE lifer, right? I love WWE.
Yeah.
WWE.
People keep talking about this AEW. I'm going to check it out.
Yeah, they heard that Swerve Strickland's the coolest guy in pro wrestling. Well, let me see it. I'll
Sasha
check out the
Banks
show.
went over there.
Yeah,
Check it
exactly.
out.
I got to
Yeah.
see Sasha Banks. She won a title, I heard, right? So this is where it doesn't make fucking sense to those people is you have a gentleman in the ring cutting a promo saying AEW is my fucking promotion.
Love AEW.
Wearing a Ring of Honor title.
Which
The
they
fuck
probably
is
heard
that?
of before. Which they've probably heard of before, right? But they don't know
Yeah.
AEW. So they're probably, wait a minute, what? Yeah.
Yeah. And this is where we got to separate the shows. I don't hate. Let me clarify that statement real quick. I don't hate the idea of Athena, for example, who I know is injured, but has been killing it in Ring of Honor, comes over and is like, Mercedes Moné, you think you're the shit? I'm the shit. And we do like a quote unquote dream match between champion and champion, right? Okay. But when we're just like, funsies with this and here's this person now and that's this, like, then it gets convoluted and confusing and stupid, and it's hard for me to describe to someone else what they're seeing in this example. And so that's where I don't like it, but I liked everything he said.
Yeah. But then we're continuing a feud that I wish we wouldn't, because we get Jack Perry comes out, so he attacks Mark Briscoe, who then Kyle O'Reilly comes out to attack him, and then Okada comes out to attack him, and then the Young Bucks come out, and then the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn come out to try to save the day and run everybody off. And so I guess we're running this back a little bit with the EVPs and the
so Mark
Acclaimed.
Briscoe, because Mark Briscoe announced that he's the first member of Team AEW because we are doing Blood and Guts because the Elite made the challenge, right?
Yeah, so I guess then they got to bring the fight to him, I guess.
They got to do something, right?
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, the person I thought that was interesting who was missing was, if you run that through again, right? We have Mark Briscoe, then we have Jack Perry, then we have Kyle O'Reilly, then we have Okada, then we have the Elite, then we have the Acclaimed. Person I thought we were going to see is Orange Cassidy, because remember all those backstage promos that we had?
Right.
And it was Orange Cassidy, Kyle O'Reilly, Mark Briscoe. Where the fuck was he, right? He's supposed to say, oh, well, I finally have a friend kind of thing. Now I understand he lost.
Crying
so maybe
from
he
being embarrassed.
yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Licking his
maybe
wounds.
that was the case. Yeah. Maybe that was the case, but still, right? Like,
yeah,
that's
but
who I
guess-
was
and I mean,
shocked that
sure, it
didn't
makes
see.
sense that the person that you just wrestled would still come out if you're trying to fuck with other people, so the Acclaimed are there. But like, I don't know. I wish they could stay out of it. I didn't get. What do you think from like the whole Forbidden Door and all of that? Like, I'm still. I think the Acclaimed still need to do something different now. I'm ready for them to move on past this current iteration of scissoring. It doesn't have to be a wild change, right? But at least the New Day for a while, remember, like, they added some things, right? Like, until it was too many adding of things, and then it kind of became nothing, right? But at least for a while they ran with, like, well, it was pancakes, but now it's fucking unicorns or whatever, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I think, assuming that they're in this match, which all indications feels like they will be, right? I think we will see a different version of them because for the most part, they haven't been hardcore wrestling, right? I can't remember either one of them bleeding. I can't
Yeah.
really even remember
And
either
put on
one
the
of them.
jeans to get in a street fight.
Yeah.
Right.
So I haven't seen that. So potentially,
Yeah.
as we lead into this, which we got not that much time, maybe that's the change
If they
that we
would
see.
show up at this thing in like 80s Run DMC wear, right? Ready for the street fight and shit, bringing some boom boxes and shit, and fucking just go to like,
They should all dress up like the YMCA. That's what they fucking should do. Get your ass kicked by dudes that are dressed like the YMCA. That would fucking suck.
I mean, look, so it's Mark Briscoe.
Yeah.
And it's at least the two, tag team guys of the Acclaim, because I can see Billy
And
Gunn.
maybe
being
Billy
like,
Gunn.
Bro, I can't,
maybe Billy Gunn. Yeah.
Yeah.
A
Couple
would love
scoops of that creatine for Billy Gunn. He's good to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Creatine. All right. Creatine. So, all right. So that's traditional wrestling, right? They run them out of the, we're out of here. Fuck you. Smell our dicks. All right. Then we go back to Renee. This kind of feels like it's like almost every segment or nearly every other,
Ping
right?
pong.
Like,
yeah.
So we got Renee backstage this time with Toni Storm and Mariah May. And this is a pep talk, right, for Mariah May in advance of her match coming up. Yeah? What do you think? And, of course, Forbidden Door, obviously, Toni Storm wins over...
Triple kiss.
Yeah, and they get the triple
We
kiss.
get a triple kiss, which I thought was interesting. Here's the thing that maybe it's me. Look, I struggle with hearing. I have auto processing disorder, which is meaning I can hear sounds, but doesn't mean that I understand the word. For example, Tom sounds like mom to me sometimes. So sometimes when you say Tom, I'm like, you ain't talking to me because I heard mom, right? That to be saying, I couldn't understand what the fuck they said in this promo because all I heard was the crowd noise. Like I didn't
Yeah.
hear shit from. Now
Yeah. I didn't
I
hear a whole lot of
read
it
one
either,
of
but
it.
yeah.
Well, I read one of it where it was digest, uh, lightning, defecate thunder, and so I thought that was funny. I
Yeah,
read
that's
that
good.
later. Yeah. And so that was fun. But to be honest with you, full stop, didn't understand. I couldn't hear what they said. So you're gonna have to tell me what they said.
Yeah, no, and that was it. I can read it right here off of Cage Side. See, it's what they say about it, right?
Mhm.
Let me go back up to that then because she said they asked her about the match against Sakara Shoot on Friday. May is hesitant, but Tony gives her a pep talk and reminds her she'll have her girls with her and gets Mariah to drop her catchphrase for her. And that they might not have heard much of it either because they didn't really give a long, lengthy description of this. I did catch her saying she was like, look, Hikaru Shida is one of the last people I'd want to like trying to hype up. This is a tough opponent for you, but like you got this. And you know, I mean, she obviously said that line that you said there, and then she told her she was like, "All right, so what's the line?" Right? And she was like, "Chin up, tits out, and watch for the shoe." And so you know, yeah.
Yeah. One other quick thing about that though. We need to be watching for shoes. When was
We
the
need some
last time
shoes, right?
anyone's, and especially Renee? It started with Renee, right? It started with Tony Storm telling Renee, watch for the shoe, and then a shoe's thrown at her face. So come on, let's throw some fucking shoes at
Let's get a
Renee.
shoe.
Like I'm specifically Renee, right? Like if anyone,
Well, and Tony, you get her to say the thing, you've got to throw the shoe, right? To commemorate the shoe.
Yeah, come on. So that's what I want, more shoes thrown. That's what I'm, maybe that's what we get is Tony Storm throws. Oh, Tim. So Mariah May is going to win the Owen Hart tournament, right? We all know that. What if that's the fucking catalyst of the heel turn is Mariah May throws the fucking shoe at Tony Storm. She didn't watch for it. It knocks her out. 1, 2, 3.
You didn't even listen to your own. You're supposed to watch for the shoe, idiot. And then we get Tony Storm in a different era because she got knocked out. She comes back and then we get a clean break.
Sign
Tony
us.
Storm all of a sudden.
Yeah. Sign us, man. That's so easy to do. God bless. Anyhow. But yeah, Tony Storm's great. I like the match. What did you think? Let's go back to Forbidden Door just for a quick moment. What did you think? Because one of the things we talked about going into that was that what would Mariah May do? And what we got was make out with both of them. So how'd you feel about that?
Honestly, at the time, I was like, triple kiss, fun. But I also thought, man, is this just a non-ending? Are they going to be like a team now? Or does this just mean like we don't have a finish yet? And so we go on. And maybe that's it. Maybe we're not finished yet with this story.
Potentially, but to what you were saying first, that's how I felt is, so we just decided to punt on making a decision.
Yeah. So
because it also doesn't make sense. Yeah. It doesn't make sense in kayfabe for Mina just to be like, you beat me. Doggone. Now let's kiss.
Like, well, it would if Mariah May, if we start sprinkling in that she's actually running this and manipulating them both, because she did grab both of them and was like, yeah, and they were kind of like, what? And she was like, you know, and you want this. A little creepy, by the way. Don't do that. All right. It's a television show, folks. It's a television show. All right. Let's get back to the list. Tom, we got another Owen Hart Cup semifinals match, this time for the ladies, right? We get Chris Statlander, because it is every night is Saturday night, versus Willow.
I did it for you.
And of course, Statlander had
Big Stoke
in tow. Albeit, here was another production miss for me. We had no spotlight for Chris Statlander. Just dark lights the entire time. Couldn't see her walking down. Couldn't see her picking up Stokely doing the bit where she puts him on the first step. And then they turn the spotlight on. I was like, good timing, guys. Good timing.
Yeah, they're still working things out. I will give them at least the new gimmick. We haven't figured it all out, a pass, but yeah, not great when you just got no one knows who's up there. I guess it's Chris Statlander, but maybe not. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Well, what do you think of this
interesting
match,
way.
right? We get the match. We get Willow versus Statlander. I think maybe we didn't get enough. Man, like if this were at a pay-per-view, this would have been longer, right? I think it was a bit quick for, and maybe this feud is not done, right? Maybe more will happen at the Owen Hart Cup finals, right? So maybe it's not all we're gonna get. But I think I was a bit surprised by the Willow getting the victory in sort of that kind of quick fashion, right?
Well, I liked how it started. We got the pounce on the stage,
Yeah.
and then we went right into because we didn't do the like let's lock up. It was just we don't like each other, so let's fight, and that's what we're gonna do.
Yep, we fight.
I did think it was interesting that it was Statlander who tried to get one up on Willow. Not to say that Willow would try to get one up on Statlander, but the aggression was started by up to this point the person who was running away every single time. So I thought that was interesting, and yeah, the match was really good. For me, again, I've kind of said this a few other times. I don't necessarily need a long match. Get to it. You know what I mean?
True.
Like
yeah.
when
I don't necessarily mean like long. I just think like even the finish, it was kind of like the pin kind of happened quickly. Even it felt like
yeah, I agree with you there. Yeah, but to the point of like timing, because for example, when I go back and watch iconic matches, just air quotes iconic matches, I'm watching the finish. I'm not watching the whole fucking thing.
yeah.
Because and so unless there is a spot right like that is I always remembered kind of thing, but if it's something like uh like Kurt Angle Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 21, I just watched the end. I don't watch the fucking headlock from Shawn Michaels for 8 minutes. No, I ain't waste my time with that. You know what I
I
mean?
don't need rest holds, right? I can deal without that. Yeah.
Yeah, so get to it. And so I like that they kind of got to it. Willow wins, so Willow advances to the finals. Tim, what do you think? Do you think we're done here, or do you think we run it back with Statlander and Willow?
I think that's going to be an easy way to also help Mariah May get a win here over Red Hot Willow, and kind of continue two storylines, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I do feel like now could throw a monkey wrench in this, and Hikaru Shida could beat Mariah May, and we might be like, oh, now what, right? But I don't feel like that's happening, right? So, yeah, I mean, I think we have not seen the end of this. So I agree. All right,
Yeah,
do you agree
I
with
think,
that? Yeah.
yes, I agree with it. However,
Well,
the
AEW
AEW
too,
booking,
I forgot. Stokely he threw the chain in, remember? And she tried to hit with the chain, missed, and, kind of a, like, oopsie daisy. So there's still that too, right? Is Statlander pissed at Stokely for any of this? Do we get a little,
Well, that's interesting that you say that, because if you go back to Forbidden Door, Will Ospreay loses to Swerve Strickland because Don Callis gives a screwdriver. And man, you know what? Now I'm catching a theme. So obviously we have WWE tropes, and one of the tropes that we fall into in WWE that we kind of have programmed ourselves into is talking to kind of your point. Next week, since it's going to be presumably Mariah May versus Willow, well, Statlander's going to come out and distract, and that's how Willow loses. But really, if you look at the history of AEW, that doesn't usually happen. However, one recent theme, if we kind of look back at all the matches, quick fast forward to the end, is this, hey, do the bad thing. The person doesn't do the bad thing, and it costs them the match. So again, let's fast forward to the main event. MJF does that to Daniel Garcia. We get this. Bill Stokely says, do this to Willow. Statlander does it, but it screws up. Then you go to Forbidden Door. Here's the screwdriver, Ospreay. And then it costs him the match. So it's like, are you guys leaning into that a little bit too much? Where the manager, because then fucking don't have anyone next to the ring. That's what I would do. No one's coming out with me.
I mean, yeah. Yeah. All right. Another interview backstage. We got Renee. She's interviewing Jeff Jarrett and crew, and Karen Jarrett is there, and they're talking about, he's got an upcoming match here, Owen Hart Cup, which we've covered. They had that amazing package where Jeff Jarrett, poured his heart out, And as much as we shit on Jeff Jarrett, like that was awesome. And this wasn't bad either. So Renee's like, hey, I think like, what's your strategy here tonight? Or what are your thoughts? Like, or whatever. And he just like, all right, like, off. And Karen Jarrett even, I think like she was kind of like, but still wasn't like necessarily like, fuck you, Renee. She was just kind of like, shit. Right. Like, and went off after him. And then even Jay Lethal, like, kind of was able to sort of like, it's been a group of like, chuckle fucks, if you will, right? That we've all not taken seriously and they've all been heels. But in this moment, like, again, it felt like raw emotion, felt real, right? And then Jay Lethal's like, hey, right? Like, just says what he has to kind of be like, you know what I mean? He's good. He's ready. Like, this means something. And then off. I really enjoyed this moment. I thought it was really done well. Really well.
Yeah, I agree. What I was going to say here is, did Jeff Jarrett pick up fucking grooming tips from MJF? Because it looked like he just got out of a fucking F-150 2 minutes before this fucking interview.
Looked as orange as he does on this fucking shirt right here.
Well, look at his hair. His hair looked all like, when was the last time he got a haircut? Jesus Christ, brother, you're on television. It's not the first time you've done this. So that was my observation from Jeff Jarrett. But I do like this. I will say, again, this group confuses the fuck out of me because Jay Lethal doesn't need the group, but then Jay Lethal is in the group. And then Satnam Singh is the guy off by himself. But now, no, he's not. He's back with, like, I don't know what the fuck this group is, first off. And it makes sense that they do all of this pull on the heartstrings because as we get to the match, we find out who the wild card is, and we get a spot that in 2024, I posted this on our Threads account, I did not anticipate at all. So we'll get to that when we do.
Yeah. Interesting stuff there. Interesting stuff. I'm looking forward to that. So after this segment, Jarrett walks away. They do the thing, right? Tony Schiavone is in the ring. And he calls out, good old friend of his, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. And we get all the cheers. And we get Britt Baker starting her promo. And at first, I kind of was like, man, she's struggling a little, right? Like, she's kind of like thing. But then she kind of gets into why, right? Because this was a deeply emotional thing she was about to tell us, right? That she had a goddamn mini stroke, right? And needed to kind of stay on the shelf for a while, right? Which is fine, right, you guys? Take your heart health seriously, right? Like, check up and get all your checkups and all that jazz. But it was running a little slow until then, right? And then you get the emotional. But then she takes a turn and starts just deciding this is a shit-talking session on Mercedes Monday, right? Like, I'm just going to drill this bitch. What do you think so far?
So, a couple things. I understand that serious things happen to people, and when they feel like they need to tell us, they tell us. Fantastic. However, two things. One, I don't think I'd ever need to hear why an AEW wrestler has been gone for extended period of time, because it feels like everyone either got Ebola or some fucking life-threatening disease. So it's like, hey, you don't need to give me your health like that. Just say you were out. It's fine. So like a mini stroke now fucking worries me just as a fan, that like, if she's going in, 45 minutes into a match, is she going to fucking stroke out? Right. Like could be a real concern. So That's one thing. Two, and this is where I sound like a prick and I understand it. However, this is a television show. It's a television show. If you want to post the heartfelt thing in slow, monotone, hard for you to get through kind of speeches, there's Instagram Live. There's fucking all the things there. Do that shit there. Because this, I'm being dead serious. And I love Britt Baker. I met Britt Baker. She's right over there. DMD. She's probably my favorite female wrestler currently and up there all time. But what I'm saying here is that was fucking kind of like,
it was rough to get through.
Fuck yeah, it was. And it was
even though I was empathetic and I was, you know what I mean, like, and understood a bunch of things down, you're like, oh, that makes sense why she was gone so long, right? Like, even with all the massive injuries, but yeah.
And there was no inflection in the voice, so it started to sound like a substitute teacher reading today's lesson plan.
It also, not for nothing, right? Like, it's understandable, but it brings the mood down, right? Like, you know what I mean?
Well,
Like, it's like, kind of like you're saying, this is a television show where we're trying to bat, and you didn't use this in a storyline, at least you haven't yet, right? To like make a zoom in on it, right? And that's what I mean. Like, you took us out of the story for a moment, and you went, hey, by the way, I almost died, guys. And we were like, what? Right? Like, what? Right? Like, this is the first we're hearing of it? Like, it's a little, what? Right? Like you said, it's hard to come back out of that and fire back up, right?
Well, I guess to my point, what I guess I'm trying to explain is that if you want us to feel that, then I need to hear and motherfuckers, I almost died. Like some inflection. If I tell you, Tim, that I almost died, I'm not going to tell you. So Tim, Monday morning, got my breakfast. After breakfast, I started my laundry, and then I had a stroke. And then after my stroke, I started to go to the hospital. It's like, what the fuck? Like, Tim, let me tell you. So the day started with this. And then I swear, this was the hardest thing I've probably ever gone through in my life. This.
And honestly,
she didn't do any
this
of that.
is weird because Britt Baker knows how to do this, right? Like, she knows how to public speak. She knows how to promos. Now, again, like she said, she didn't plan this. She came out and, I don't know, right? Like, maybe she's happy with all of it. Well, maybe she would change it. Who knows? But
well, this is where I was getting to. So the second half, what you talk about is the shit talking. And this is where I would say, Britt Baker, we don't need your baby face. Don't stop. Don't do it. Don't do it. Some people, it's like the Miz baby face. And I'm saying she's not Miz, but what I'm getting at is some people are just more comfortable talking that shit. She seems to be that person. Because if you recall, when she did say that she was the first one that signed on and all that shit, we kind of didn't care, right? Because she was doing all the, hey guys, I just want to let you know that I lost that match, but I'm going to try harder next time. We're like, fuck that. And then she gets injured and was like, hey, I'm a role model. Bitch, check this out. You think my face hurts? I'll fuck you. And we're like, yeah, this is the motherfucker. Yes. So like, don't go babyface. Don't. Or if you're going to go babyface, do it MJF style. Reba. And you're the same person. You know what I mean? Like MJF, to his credit, when he went babyface, there was like, God damn it, someone got one over on me, but I'm still going to say the same things. That's what I would say Britt Baker needs to do. Because when she tried to do the like serious stuff, nah, that ain't for me.
So, and yes, albeit, I guess it's fine, right? So so she's a face, but she's talking, but now we get the roll up, right? And we see on the screen, which this one I don't get either. How did you know she was cutting a promo right now? And you roll up right now, which it's not right now because I can see it's bright daylight outside when you're filming this damn thing. I guess I don't. They were in New York, right?
Well, it could still be daylight. Daylight.
Yeah. Well, but so it just kind of was like, all right, well, so now we get Mercedes, right? Now I like the CVPs are there, and I like the line where he's like, man, finally a CEO we can get behind, right? And so they send her in there, like, let's get the party ready. A little slow again. We got to watch them set up the party around her, but that's part of the like, Jesus Christ, really, right? Like really. And then Mercedes Moné, in the ways that she's bad sometimes with the microphone, worked really well here, right? Because she just seemed out of touch, like, well, fuck y'all, I'm here, I'm the best, ain't nothing, you can't talk shit to me. Like, I already thought of everything I'm gonna say to you. It doesn't matter what you say. So even though it sounded practice, because like I already fucking know what I was gonna say to you, right? So I mean, this worked, right? And the fucking hand to the face, right? And she's like, fucking please, right? Like when she asked her that I want a match, which again, the fuck do you get a match? You were gone for 9 months and didn't you almost die? Are we sure you can even do this? Like, so interesting here, right?
So a couple things there. Yes. One, maybe it came across so well because maybe she wasn't acting. Huh?
Maybe she wasn't acting.
That's why.
Well, and the crowd was leaning into her too. This helped also, right? The crowd was like, fuck you. They were like, boo you.
Well, they started chanting, shut the fuck up, right?
Yeah.
And if you go back to Forbidden Door, now this has to do a little bit more with sports fandom. They were in New York. She is proudly from Boston. The Celtics just won the NBA championship. So there was fuck Boston Celtics, fuck you for being from Boston, we're, hurt kind of thing, because that's our arch rival. So they booed her. So I think and I do think that we were kind of going towards this with Willow, and then with, a baby face from Mexico. So we were kind of leaning into eventually she's going to turn, right? But I think this was believable tonight because I think she believed every fucking word she said. And two, the thing that I liked is that Britt Baker, as you mentioned, hey, why would you get a title shot? Mercedes says, oh, you get to the back of the line, bitch. And Britt Baker just looks behind her and says, what line, bitch?
Yeah. Yeah. That was good.
That's the shit. Because no one else came out. No one else was like, no. It's me at All In.
And she's like, I'm right here. Let's fucking.
Yeah. And so I thought, again, I don't think once we got to this part, I do think that they like each other in the sense of they may have dinner together. They may be in the same locker room, but I do think there's
professional jealousy there or whatever.
Well, there's a professional but obviously everyone knows that I'm the shit. Yeah. Like I'm the shit here. Right. Like, and so when you get two people who think that, this is what happens. And this is what rules. And also Britt Baker never misses with the ex-WWE wrestler. Remember when Ruby Soho called herself the runaway and she's like, you didn't run away. You got fired, bitch.
Yeah.
Like, she never misses. She didn't miss in this Mercedes Moné promo.
Yeah.
I think there's something in her, right in her like sternum, where she's like, I hate the WWE. I don't like what they did to Adam Cole. I don't like the women think that they're better than me. They should have got me before AEW started, and I'm going to unleash hell on all of them. And she does. And this is great. I will say one thing. How do you feel about this? I get a little bit exhausted of me and you want to fight? Yeah, I want to fight you. In 6 weeks, let's do it.
Especially next week. I thought, especially after she like palmed her face, I thought, all right, now we get the fight, right? And that's how she's going to say, okay, I will put the title on the line. But we didn't get that yet, and maybe that's to draw it out. So
yeah, but the 6 weeks, let's fight. It's why you have a weekly show. You could fight any week of this show. Just do it next week,
Yeah. Were you tired?
Didn't get that. Yeah. Well, I will say the other thing with Britt Baker, one thing that's just noticeable, and this is just an observation, but she looks to be in the most in shape she has been since I've ever seen her in AEW. Like she had abs that I didn't think humans had abs. Like it was like a 12 pack somehow. She looked to
Britt
be
Baker, you're saying?
Super shape. Yeah. Britt Baker. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to assume there was some, when you start talking about mini strokes and stuff, you start probably doing some dietary changes and things like that too, and stuff like that help.
Yeah,
with that
I don't know, but she looked
some exercise routines and stuff, right? Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of cardio involved.
She looks fantastic in the sense.
Could be wrong.
What I mean, and just to again make sure that no one thinks I'm a fucking creeper, in the sense of when men come back and they look bigger than ever.
Yeah, exactly.
Physically
right.
impressive.
Like athletically.
Yeah, right, I'm married,
competition ready, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and happily so, even. Happily.
Yeah. The side note, quick side quest. I fucking hate that too. When women are walking their dogs and I'm looking obviously at the dog and the woman's like, and I'm like, bitch, I'm married. The fucking reason I got this on my hand is because I'm saying there ain't no one else.
She'll stay away from me, Jezebel.
Well, not even that. It's like, so maybe don't think that I'm actually looking at you and probably realize I'm looking at your cute ass dog. Fucking dumb shits. Anyhow, I digress. What do we got next?
We got next up on, let me see, check my list here again. Yes, another Renee interview backstage. And this is good too. We get Will Ospreay. He's standing there with Kyle, forgot his name. And they are getting ready to talk about, all the stuff Will Ospreay's been through over, what is his fucking name? I don't know.
Fletcher. Kyle Fletcher.
Fletcher, right.
Sounds like a plumber.
Yeah, right. And, they're doing their thing. And then we get one of the best in the game, Don Callis, right? And we get this where he's like, hey, like, I know you tried to give me the fucking thing and I couldn't do the thing and I couldn't hit the Tiger Driver and like, I owe you a lot, but I won out, right? I won out. And fucking goddamn Don Callis goes, I'm not normally in the business of letting folks out of signed agreements with me, but I'm gonna do you this favor, right? Because something proud of you, how far you came, and all that jazz, and you've done so much great work. And he's like, I'm gonna do you this favor, and he's like, but I expect you'll do a favor for me, right? And he gives him that hug that looks like this isn't a good decision for Will Ospreay to have made, right? And I even like the come on, Kyle, right? And then kind of like, oh shit, like I guess I gotta go with him now.
Yeah, you made this agreement with him too.
Really good stuff here, right? Again, subtle stuff. I mean, not so subtle in some ways, but also subtle. Like just it's a quick moment, right? We didn't have to beat ourselves over the head with this. This, can move on. We'll get more on this later in the coming weeks, but I like where we're headed here. What is Don Callis eventually going to do here?
Well, what is the favor? I think the favor is when we get the true breakup, right? It's this, hey, how's the family? Good. How's your family? Good. Oh, great, great, great. And then Don is going to say, hey, so what I need you to do is Daniel Garcia's really been a pain in our ass. I need you to like take him out. And he's like, no, I don't want to. It's like, you owe us a favor. And then that's when the true breakup happens. That's what I think, because they kept hammering favor, right? Like they didn't hit us over the head with it, but they said favor a few different times. So I don't feel, kind of foreshadowing, at whatever event we're doing, All In, or maybe something before that, is when Don Callis brings in Takeshita and all of them and they beat the shit out of Will Ospreay. I think it will be the, hey, you said you owe me something, and Will Ospreay says he can't do it, and then that's when we get the true breakup of the family and him. So
yeah, but it's coming, right? We got to get Will Ospreay away from them.
We're getting the, I don't know the hand signal, but he does the fucking hand signal thing, and that's the Aussie Open. Because remember the show that we went to in Kansas City where he made his first surprise appearance, and it was with Kyle Fletcher, and then that the bigger mustache guy of the tag team that Kyle Fletcher's in, and they're a group, and it's with Jeff Cobb too. This thing. That's what I think we're getting, is Will Ospreay will then get Kyle Fletcher to join his side. We'll get that a guy, Mustache Mountain, to come fucking back from injury. We'll bring in Jeff Cobb, and now we've got fun shit there. So that's what I think will happen, but that's just a guess.
All right. Well, we move on and we get another storyline that I wish we weren't still continuing. We get Jericho comes out. And he's doing his promo, and he's got an executive order, and he's kicking Taz out because he can't do commentary sitting next to Taz, which is okay, fine, whatever. But it's just more Jericho nonsense, right? That alone, that moment, if we weren't doing the whole Jericho tree thing, like that's a fine moment, right? Jericho's like, I can't sit next to you. I got an executive order for 20. Get out of here, Taz, right? Like that's a cool move if fill in the blank heel does that, right? But everything else about this sucks. We get the Cage of Agony, Bishop Khan, Toa Leon, and Brian Cage taking on Hook, Shibata, and Samoa Joe. And man, we get the triple sleeper hold, right? Like, I guess the crowd popped kind of. I don't know. And then Jericho's going to congratulate them, and then we get the behind the back attack from the One Arm Bandit and Big Bill, and they choke slam Hook.
Gates of Agony is what this fucking segment felt like. I legitimately...
We opened them gates up, man.
Yeah, I legitimately... So the Royals game was going on tonight, and as some of you early joined us on the YouTube, I was watching the very end of it because it's an important game because we're in playoff contention, and goddamn it, we deserve to go back there. It's been almost 10 years. But with that being said, I fully went to the Royals game as soon as the fucking start of his thing. Hi guys, or whatever. Nope. I don't fucking care what you say. He could have fucking gave us the winning Powerball numbers, and I still would have fucking turned it because I don't give two fucking like.
Yeah.
What is it called? X-Pac heat, right? Like where it's like that's I've never felt that. Even when like I didn't really care about X-Pac, I was just like, it's fine. This is like, god damn it, because everything around it is good to great. Everything is like a 7.5 to 10, and he is a fucking 2. And so when it happens, I get so mad that
So
Ricky
is it
Starks
working?
is in.
It's like-
No, because like Ricky, all I think about is all the people I'm not seeing. It's like, wouldn't it
well,
be cool
and you
if
say
Ricky
like you
Starks
say
was
you
here?
walk away, so it's not
Yeah,
necessarily yeah.
I ain't watching. I fucking leave it. I watched the Royals game.
Yeah.
I took my dog outside. Fuck this. This is stupid. So all the things you're talking about with I didn't see it. I didn't see it. I don't want to see it. Get out of here. I love Samoa Joe. Let me tell you this. If Samoa Joe, Shibata, and Hook were doing a thing where they're creating chemistry to go after the trios champions, which are the Gold Bang Gang or whatever they're called, awesome.
Nailed it.
I'm about that, right? That's cool. That's interesting to me because here is a cohesive group who are the champions. Here are three individuals that have always been, singles wrestlers learning to work together. What will
He's
that
like,
look
look,
like?
follow my learn tree. I'll bring you to titles, and now they've got titles. Yeah,
Yeah, all of that stuff. Well, don't call it learning tree, goddammit. But you know what I'm saying?
but
Like,
you know what I mean.
yeah. No, I was just giving shit. So that's
But
interesting.
even as what it is, right? Like even if that's what he was
Yeah.
doing, like I'm a learns y'all up, follow my lead.
But Jericho is just awful.
He's pretty cringe. Yeah, he's pretty cringe right now.
And
And
Brian Keith, you ain't it in this role. I don't know what your role is. I kind of liked you when you started, but this ain't it, homie. You are very bad at what you've been asked to do. It's not good.
it's not good.
Not good.
All right, well here was something good. We get the Owen Hart Cup quarterfinals match. Even though we've been having semifinals matches earlier in the night, but that's fine. We get Jeff Jarrett, Slam Nets, taking on mystery opponent who turned out to be Evil Hangman, dressed in black, anxious millennial cowboy,
Right there.
and stone faced, right? Like I was about to say stone sober, but we know that's not true from the video we saw. But man, what do you think, your thumb? And again, I mean, we get in the match, right? He proceeds to really kind of work over Jeff Jarrett, essentially, right?
Well, the music's different, right? So we've always had the same song, even throughout his ups
Which
and
is an
downs.
amazing song.
Yeah. Oh God, it's the best song of all time. You can play it in any setting. It's the best.
Walk out your
Dare
wedding
you.
to that song.
Walk out a wedding, play it at your funeral. It doesn't fucking matter. It's the fucking best.
Yeah, you can play it at your funeral.
Yeah, might as well.
You hit the play button yourself.
Dead. Right. So it was great. The other thing that was really great is he didn't look to have he got again the MJF playbook for how to look on TV where it's like, yeah, just don't even fucking address it. Just don't look at mirrors and then come back. Cause he looked all types of fucked up in the eyes, beard was all fucked up, hair was straggly, chest hair, all the things. And so fuck yes. And he's mean and he's kind of crazy eyed. Oh, I love this Hangman. I love all Hangmans. Hangman is the best. Love him.
Yeah.
And this Hangman is rules too.
So I think we had said, we thought this is fun because this feels like it's a mix of both things, right? That Hangman just comes back and he's going to have to swerve, but Hangman comes back and joins the Elite. And he kind of did both, but kind of didn't, right? More on that later. We'll talk about the Hangman here in a little bit. But him coming out, I'm like, all right, he's fucking back. We knew we were getting Hangman back, right, from the videos and stuff. Here we go. But instantly, kind of as I mentioned earlier, it made me go, whoa, this Owens Hart Cup, the men's side, instantly got totally different. Everything just got turned upside down on this.
Well, in the spot that I had mentioned earlier that we can kind of come back to is who would have thought in 2024 Jeff Jarrett putting on the sharpshooter would get motherfuckers out of their seats? They were fucking going wild.
Yeah.
And this is
This
again,
guy.
and this is where, I've heard criticism over multiple whatever posts, Twitter, all the stuff that Tony Khan or AEW decision makers, whatever it may be, values the 5-star match instead of the big time moments. This wasn't even necessarily a big time moment, but it could have been. And that took 2 weeks, right? We got an insanely awesome promo from Jeff Jarrett, which was very real. And obviously it was real, but you know what I mean? Felt authentic, felt like he really meant these words. And then you bring him into the ultimate heel who, well, fuck, he's obviously going to win.
Yeah.
But what if he doesn't, right? What if he doesn't? And we get this sharpshooter. Friends, we could do this every fucking week with someone. We easily could if you just invest the time and don't do, hey, next week on the pay-per-view, it's a Slippity Dick versus old plumber jack off. Like, what? Okay, I guess so.
Slippity Dick.
Slippity Dick and plumber jack off guy. You know what I mean? Like, because so many of these pay-per-view matches are just thrown together. The one that I missed on, the Willow tag match, I didn't even fucking know who the tag partners were.
Yeah, I didn't know who they were. Yeah.
No, I'm saying like they didn't announce it. We did not know the people. Like, that's come on. If you're going to do 36 fucking matches, have 36 fucking stories. And I know that AEW tells stories. Obviously, we're talking about Hangman and all this coolness. But that's where I was like, these motherfuckers made, not me, because I still wanted him to suffer, but they made people care about Jeff Jarrett, for Christ's sake. I mean, look at you. You're wearing a shirt. That's what you
yeah. That's how much I cared, you son of a... well, to make matters worse, we get another Jericho segment right after that, because Hook is backstage getting tended
hold on. Hangman wins. We got to say.
Yeah.
Hangman wins.
Hangman, he essentially, he didn't necessarily work him over completely, but he worked him over.
He hits the buckshot and then goes to punches. That was what was interesting. It was a buckshot, not a pin. Punches to the head, then another dead eye. Like, this was a brutal.
Yeah, like, I don't care that you're here doing a tribute to your friend.
I do not care.
You're in the way.
You're going to join them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know?
So, Hook's backstage getting medical attention when Brian Keith attacks him. And we get a Jericho fucking fireball again. Yeah.
The only thing, I did see this part. The only thing that would have saved it just a little bit is if he would have just for fun said, I'm a wizard. This is what it's called, going back to a gimmick. Like, if he would have said what he was doing, maybe, but I don't give a fucking care.
Shit's gonna get a lot worse when, like, the Heritage Foundation names her the Secretary of the Treasury. Anyway, all right, or his fucking wife, Jericho's wife. All right, so Renee is backstage and she's interviewing the EVPs and Hangman. And they are full cheesy, hey, buddy, great job, excellent. And he's like, listen, you little motherfuckers, right? He wastes no time being like, I don't fucking need your shit. I don't fucking need you. I mean, I'm paraphrasing here, right? He's like, I ain't fucking here for you, right? I'm not your fucking guy anymore, right? It's basically what he told him.
And then they were like, whoa, okay, we'll keep that fire.
Great then, thanks.
Well, because they asked him to be the fifth man in the Blood and Guts match because they need a fifth person.
Right.
So they're like, hey, we did this favor for you. Now you do a favor for us. And he's like, no, fuck you.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing this, but I don't fucking need it. You know, like, interesting.
Yeah, we'll see where that plays in later too, of course. Love this Hangman on a mission. Swerve better watch out, man. Swerve. All right.
Well, hold on. Let's talk about it then. So we've got both. We got the final. So we've got Bryan Danielson over here saying, this is my last year. I need to win the fucking championship. So to win the championship, I win the Owen Hart tournament. And then you got Hangman who said, I am filled with the anger of 10,000 men stuck in traffic. I hate everything about waking up and knowing that Swerve is champion. I will dethrone him and make him hate that he even knew who I was, right? So what do you do? What do you do? What would you do? What do you got?
Man, I don't know. It's interesting because the Owen Hart Cup, the winner gets the title shot. Because my thought was maybe Swerve's like, fuck you. I ain't letting you win this. I'm taking it to you. I'm costing you the fucking match, right? Like, right? So maybe we get to that too. And and so maybe then it's Bryan Danielson versus Swerve and Hangman gets interfered with that somehow. And that's a no something or whatever, right? But like, and we can continue it. But I think that might be where I go. I think we might throw the swerve, if you will, of Swerve showing up being like, nope, sorry, not for you today, pal, right? Like, talking shit already? Like, don't come back around here. You'll get more of the same, bitch.
Yeah, because one thing that was interesting and it makes sense from a storyline perspective, is Swerve wasn't on the show, right? And obviously now because Hangman, you would have been like, well, wouldn't Hangman just go running after Swerve and not even
Right.
go to the match, right? So good, right? Good that he wasn't on there, although he is your champion. You know what? I digress.
Yeah.
So here's the thing that I think is interesting. So Hangman, let's say we go the route of Hangman wins.
Mm-hmm.
You really have Hangman lose a third time in a row
Maybe you don't.
to Swerve Strickland?
Maybe you don't.
And so is this how Swerve Strickland's title reign comes to an end? Or
I mean, the guy whose house he broke into and stood over his baby's crib beating him, it's not a bad way to go out.
Yeah. Or
Storyline-wise.
as you just talked about, the Elite are kind of pissed that old Hangman didn't do them a favor. Do we go that
but they
route?
also aren't trying to give a whole lot of favors to Swerve either right now.
I agree. Or do you do, oh my God, he came so close. Bryan Danielson gets to the match and still comes up short against Swerve at All In. Or do you do the theory that some people have worked online is that when we do this match, one Nigel McGuinness cost Bryan Danielson that match, and at All In,
Do we
in
know
London,
he can do a match?
I don't know. He talks so much shit on Bryan Danielson, right?
Yeah, and it's been thick. And no, I'm like, he's a shit talker, right? He's a heel, like he's a good heel commentator, really good, one of the best. But he's extra on Bryan Danielson, and of course, like they have their rivalry, right? But yeah.
So gun to your head, which I
Could be
wouldn't
fun.
actually do. Gun to your head again, which I actually would not do. Who you got? Who are you picking to win? I don't care about the method. Just who is the winner facing Swerve at All In? Hangman or Bryan Danielson?
I think Bryan Danielson wins the Owen Hart Cup tournament, but I think it might be one of those scenarios where we get like a triple threat even at All In. But I mean, we've done that with Hangman and Swerve in a title match.
Yeah.
That might be a little too much, but I kind of feel like we're gonna get that like All In. Danielson's got a shot. Maybe he gets it. Maybe he doesn't. Getting fucking 90,000 at fucking Wembley to do the goddamn thing would be a cool spot.
Again,
but
yeah, not knowing, and I don't want to know what Nigel McGuinness's legit health status is. I think you do Danielson versus Swerve at All In, and in front of 80,000, whatever it is, you know, Danielson comes up short. That's his last hurrah. Damn it, guys, right? Because Sting went out on top. Wasn't that fucking cool? So you kind of start to think, well, then is this just what AEW does? Hey, you were great your whole entire career. Let's send you out on a high note. Well, you know, someone's got to fucking fall on their face. So why not Danielson, who will take a pin just like Jericho or any of the other AEW kind of guys, right? I think Hangman, and this is again, not knowing anything, I think somehow the EVPs cost Hangman this opportunity. I think we get, run it back again, brother, the EVPs versus Hangman and Kenny Omega at All In. Right? The greatest tag team match of all time.
But this time we get angry, pissed off Omega and Hangman. Omega also comes back and you know,
and they
unshaven, clean, pissed off. Yeah.
And this is, we're not friends, right? Because the last one was like, oh, but we're
not friends. We just have mutual enemies.
Yeah. Well, they were kicked out of the fucking Elite, right? Like,
that's what I mean. We have a mutual enemy here. We're not friends doing this. So we just both want to fuck them up. It's easier to do it together.
I don't know.
That's how we do this podcast. All right. You know what I mean? That's what we do every time we start. Before we sit record, we're like, remember, we don't fucking friends here, right? We just fucking.
I don't even have the sound on before we start hit recording.
So you never hear me say that. Right. Yep. Like news to me, but I say it under my breath to you anyway. So that's how it works out. All right. Just know I control the mute over here. All right, motherfucker. All right. So we get the main event. The main event of the evening, the AEW International title is on the line. Daniel Garcia challenges the master of the bruff, Will Ospreay. And these guys, before we get into the end of the match and the post-match here, they give us all the things, right? All the spots.
The hump to the face thing.
Yeah.
That should be what Garcia does in every other match,
Yes.
right? Don't do it every single time, but yeah.
Yeah, if we can't get that in Fight Forever, I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not even playing the game anymore. Yeah, which is still a fun game. But yeah, that's what I would do, is have him do that. I agree. This was all good. One thing that was interesting, and it was only brought to my attention because my wife, who was reading the book, looked up. She said, "Why is MJF just wearing a white tank top?" And then it clicked. Oh fuck, because someone's bleeding. Like I didn't know who it was gonna be, but I was like, that shirt's gonna be covered in blood from somebody.
He did look like
either his own,
like a bootleg Hugh Jackman out there.
yeah, but like it's either his own blood, Ospreay's blood, or
Right.
Garcia's blood. But someone's about to get fucked up post match. That was, as soon as she said that, I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I see what we're doing here.
Well, and I'm going to point out something here. You know, we get into this kind of, you speaking of MJF, we're kind of running the whole, hey, use this foreign object I give you. I can't. Or, oops, I messed it up, right? We're kind of seeming to run this back a little bit. I would caution them a little bit because we do more of that here, right? Like MJF's trying to get him to, what was he? I forget what he was trying
Use
to
a
do.
Dynamite Diamond Ring.
The Dynamite Diamond Ring. That's right. Yeah.
So that's what I was saying. And then at Forbidden Door, we had Don Callis saying, hey, Ospreay, use the screwdriver. And it's
Right.
like,
well, yeah.
how many times?
Well, and we had, what was it?
Adam Cole.
Statlander, she actually tried to use it. She didn't want to not use it, but she tried to use it and missed. Yeah. I think we're getting a little bit of the.
But I was going back to World's End when Adam Cole was like, hey, MJF, use the Dynamite Diamond Ring. And then it cost him. And then what did we do after that? Adam Cole turned on MJF. So it's like, so are we just, that's our only playbook is just this one move here? So
yeah, we do that a bit. But we get, Will Ospreay comes away with the victory, which I don't think that surprised you if I had to guess, right? I think we knew somehow Will Ospreay maintains the title here, unless he got, I guess the Don Callis thing, we did hinge on that earlier, right? That could have been.
Yeah, I thought somehow I still think, and now it looks a little bit even more so, that we're going to get MJF. This is what I think, at least. We're going to get MJF versus Will Ospreay at All In. I thought it was just going to be one-on-one. Now it seems to me that it's going to be for this championship, which I don't think you should do, because the first time MJF and Ospreay wrestle for a title, it should be for the heavyweight championship. That's what I think. But what the fuck do I know? Let's have him wrestle for, what's his title called? That one. And so TBS, what is it?
What?
Gender neutral? What?
Yeah.
What the fuck is this title called? What is it?
Yeah. Ospreay's international title.
Okay. What's
that's the one that Orange
Okada's?
Cassidy had for a long time. The
Yeah,
Continental
what's
title.
Okada's called? What the fuck?
Which was
are we
from a
talking
tournament.
about?
It was supposed to be a 1-year tournament. It's going to be a year tournament again, but it's actually a title that can be defended now. Is this
Because
easy,
we need-
Tom?
Because what are we,
along.
the UFC, where we just need gold on the poster? Like, come the fuck on. Like, get rid of some of these things.
So we get MJF afterwards, and he's like, "Man, you did a great job. Sorry, that was my bad. This wasn't your fault. Yeah, barbershop window, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And good kick to the dick. That was a
Yeah,
solid
good
one.
kick to the dick. Yeah.
It went all the way up there. It looked
Yeah.
like he really kicked him.
Yeah.
Also, solid
You
crying
guys
should be punched in your dicks or vaginas. Yep, I agree with that. Whoever said that, smart man.
Right.
Big brain out on that individual.
Yeah, big brain. Big brain.
But I thought Daniel Garcia's crying post match was done really well too. Like towards the end, because it was a little
Yeah,
long.
because he said I
like,
put that on my mom, right? Like
Yeah.
when he said he was going out there.
Yeah, good crying, went a little long, but it was good job. And then
Matt
Ospreay
Menard
didn't
caught a
need-
fade too. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
wow. The one part though that I didn't think was needed, and it added to what you said. What did we go over? 15 minutes. I don't need Ospreay to fucking talk to Garcia and Big Brother him and like, but you could do it next time. Fuck out of here.
Yeah.
You guys are all adults. Get fucking move on.
Well, and then we got I think Christopher Daniels was involved a little too much. I don't hate the idea of like, why, what the fuck did you do? But like, it felt like that ran a little too much, right?
Well, and here's where the Dustin Rhodes, Christopher Daniels of the world need to fucking choose a lane. Christopher Daniels, I thought you were a fucking wrestler. You can't stop this motherfucker.
Yeah. Couldn't you fucking choke him off back there and hold him off? Yeah.
Like, what the all of a sudden now you don't know how to fucking stop someone from punching? Like,
well, and what do they like? I also, again, it's kayfabe. I know this isn't real, right? Like we're supposed to be watching a real fighting organization, though, right? Like that's what I'm supposed to forget for a moment, right? I'm watching a real fighting organization. Mm-hmm. In the UFC, if guys out of line, a damn ref will fucking drag him off. You know what I mean? Oh. Throw him off into the goddamn side and be like, get the fuck off. Why did all these referees out there and be like, please just stop? Like, what do you... Somebody do something.
Look, the WNBA had a hard foul in the Fever versus, or not the Fever, it was the Sky versus Liberty game, and security got out there and pushed the ladies like, no, we are not fighting, right? They, not that they physically like grabbed them, but they...
Yeah, right, yeah.
They moved them.
Right.
Well, and they physically moved them, not like picked them up and stuff, but they moved them, right? So yeah, again, if this is a real fighting organization.
Yeah, Christopher Daniels can't be like, no, like get in the middle, like you wouldn't take that hit. Yeah, that's weird.
But again, 2 weeks ago he fucking wrestled a match, but now all of a sudden he doesn't know what to do before. Like, get the fuck on. This is where I can't take you seriously when,
because then he's like yelling at Ospreay. He's like, "We got it, we'll handle it." And I wanted Ospreay to be like, "You didn't handle shit out here. What are you talking about?"
Yeah. But that's where these old guys either fucking be coaches and whatever, or stop wrestling. I just stop wrestling. I don't you're not believable as you're going to win anything. So fucking cut it out. Use it for someone who could win something, even if they don't. Anyhow,
So hell of a weekend into this week though for AEW, man. I think we have set a lot of stages for a lot of stories. We are continuing some, but we're setting up things for new ones or just new angles of some ones that we're revisiting. And kind of what you said, we've got a lot of players that aren't necessarily on a side, right? We've got a lot of folks who have their own individual agendas and their own plottings and their own purposes and their own reasons. And some of these don't mix, and some of them might for a moment. But nobody's all on the same team here, right? And
which is great, because that's, I mean, again, I always use the high school because I think we all went to high school, or maybe you're still in high school, whatever.
Exactly what it is, yeah.
But like, I went to a fist fight one time to help a friend, and we end up filling up a Best Buy parking lot between the two individuals. I was on the side, and my best friend Jesse was on the other side, and I was like, well, I'm not gonna punch him. And then we're like, what are you doing? He's like, well, fucking Keith called me up. Well, I was like, well, fucking Chris called me up. And they're like, well, we know these two did, so let's just watch them, right? We end up just like, because I'm not punching my best friend from first grade in the face.
No, at that point, you're just there like, I'm just going to stop it if it gets out of, you know what I mean? If somebody's about to kill somebody, right? Yeah.
No, never stop a fight. I don't give a fuck. Rather fucking kill him, whatever. You deal with those consequences, not me. I ain't having my fucking prints on anything. Nope.
Yeah, what if I don't stop you in time? Now it looks like I killed the guy with you.
Then nope. You guys start fighting and I don't care, then I'm
told him not to kill him. Told him not to kill him. Told him not to kill him.
I run.
Told him.
Yeah, if there's a fist fight in the streets and I don't care about the two people, I go the opposite way as fast as possible.
I ain't sticking around for that. Yeah, hell no. If I predicated a lot of this on knowing the folks. Like that's what I meant. Like I'll make sure somebody's not killing each other if it's like two friends fighting. Like all right.
Okay, yes, I agree. Yeah.
Fuck you guys. Like I don't know your shit. Yeah.
I was in New Orleans and there was a street fight on the other side of the street that we were crossing. We took a right. I said nope.
No. Nope. I've always been told like if it don't feel and smell right, you get the fuck out of there and ask somebody how it went down later. Like, oh yeah, much rather leave a bad situation or leave a good situation because you thought something bad might pop off than stick around and something fucking does pop. Right? Plenty of parties, plenty of things to get to, right? Plenty of bars. You don't need to be right here, right? You don't need to be right here. So, Tom, anything else you want to wrap up with AEW before we get the fuck out of here and tell all these folks to, have a great
I'm excited for both. I'm excited for both finals of the Owen Hart tournament, which I could not say in previous years, because I believe, again, assuming Mariah May is in the final, Mariah May versus Willow. Again, two different stories that don't have themselves
Hello.
involved, against each other, I think is interesting. And then Hangman and Bryan Danielson, who have a history, because remember, Hangman's first title defense was
True.
Bryan Danielson. So
That's
they
right.
already kind of don't like each other. And now we're going to get that. We did the Elite versus the Blackpool Combat Club. Remember when we did Anarchy in the Arena with that? So they have a history, but then now their history isn't with each other. That's going to be great. Good job, AEW. Good fucking job. Job well done.
You're doing a good job, and we will be back next week to talk about presumably another good job for next week's All Elite Wrap Up.